Proverbs 2:11. Mesima tishmor alecha, tevuna tinsareka. So we get here insight, the word insight, or we might have seen words like discretion or something like that, discernment maybe even, but insight. It will watch over you. Now, I've chosen watch instead of guard, but the idea here is the same. To watch over you would be to guard you. But part of the reason that I've chosen watch over is because we get the verbal root natsar down here, which is also to guard. So this is more formally to guard. And what we get in the second half of the line is understanding, tevuna, it will guard you. Let's look at a few of these pieces a little more carefully here. The verb we have is a call imperfect. It's a third feminine singular. Notice just the tav preformative, that is all. And in the call, we get the holum thematic vowel here. So a good old call imperfect third feminine singular, just a good strong form. We have discretion or insight here with the kametz hey at the end is feminine singular, so the subject-verb agreement there works nicely. So discretion will watch over you, alecha, over you, 2ms pronominal suffix there on the preposition. Then we get understanding. Now with understanding, notice here we have the shurik in the middle, but if we make that shurik a yod in this verbal root being, you might recognize the verbal root to understand. And so this would be where we get the idea of understanding. It's related, but again, you got a nominal form here versus a verbal root. So they are a little bit different, but you can see, I think, how those are related. So understand. I wrote to understanding. How about that? It should be just to understand. There you go. So understanding here, understanding, it will guard you. And again, the verbal root here is natsar. Again, a call imperfect third feminine singular because the noun is feminine singular. And then the ending on this one is the one that's a little bit more interesting to us. This is a 2ms pronominal suffix. It will guard you, masculine singular, but this is not the ending that we normally have, like this, echa, or something of that nature. We have the dagesh here, and then we have the kametz hey at the end. And if you look at Gesenius, section 58I, if you look there, you'll see that this kametz hey is explained like a compensational ending that makes this an energic noon. And so it's kind of being treated as if the ending were something like this, en ka with a dagesh lene right there, that then this noon assimilates into the dagesh forte that we see here in the word. And so it's possible that we have here an energic noon that is assimilating, which warrants then a compensation with that kametz hey at the end. But at the end of the day, this is our 2ms pronominal suffix. Understanding will guard you. Now, last thing I want to do is come back and look at the word here, mesima. Now, if I can refer you again to Andrew Steinman's commentary in the Concordia series, he has a fantastic introduction on the use of wisdom and folly words in the book of Proverbs. And with mesima, he mentions the definition insight, but then he also says foresight. Both of these are kind of built into the word. And if you look up the word in Halot, you'll see definitions like project or a plan or a scheme. And that can be positive or negative. It can be righteous or evil, but it's context has to determine that. In this particular case in Proverbs, Halot lists this under discretion or prudence. And so what I want you to see is, again, we can't take all of these definitions and they mean the same thing every time, all the time. That would be a lexical fallacy. But if these are kind of the inherent ideas behind the word discretion, let's translate it as discretion, but understand that these are kind of part of that building block. So insight would have something to do with like the ability to watch a situation, to observe a situation, and to see things in that situation to help you discern wise ways to navigate it. That's that kind of insight. But then foresight has more to do with the ability to take into account everything that you've observed and then maybe discern a potentially harmful outcome or to discern the blessings of a joyful outcome. These are the things that are going to guard you. So it's not just a metaphorical discernment guards you, and we have to be left wondering, well, how does discernment guard me? Well, it's application of the knowledge you have. You glean all the knowledge of a situation that you can. You observe the situation and gain insight, but then you also have the foresight to be able to determine this is the best path forward in order to live wisely and rightly. And so in that sense, indeed, mesima guards you. And one of the things that we're going to see later in Proverbs is that the believer also guards this foresight. So foresight guards the believer, but the believer also will guard foresight because we realize how important this element is to us. So discernment, it will watch over you. Understanding, it will guard you.